He didn't really clear anything up. My opinions on him haven't really changed. Not that they were that negative in the first place to begin with, really. I don't really have like super negative or positive views of people. I just see their effect on the world. Yeah, I know, but it's a YouTube video. I understand that. It's called, you know, what if 1 million people see this, huh, punk? It's gonna be a YouTube video later. Don't disrespect my aspirations. Anyways. Take the wind out of my sails there, bud. Yeah. In summary, there's kind of like that. It didn't really clear anything up. Didn't really offer me anything new. I still kind of hold relatively the same opinion I did before, which is that his messaging, while surface level may not sound bad, can easily be taken in very toxic ways, and have been taken in very toxic ways. I don't know. I've already forgotten. Nimrod? Numbskull? Bruh? Yeah. So yeah, like, I mean, Red Pill community seems to have taken it in a very negative way and have applied it in very toxic ways. The kind of messaging that Andrew Tate seems to give off. If you want to talk about it, come talk about it. Come on, dude. If you can't take Nimrod because you're not making, you can't tell me. First of all, it's just me in the chat. Lamau is not exactly respectful. I'm making a YouTube video and I'm streaming. I'm gonna act like I'm talking to more than one person if I'm making a YouTube video. That's not exactly respectful. That can easily be coming off as you kind of ragging on me for having one viewer. Okay? So let's be clear on that one. 2, I think I called you a Nimrod or a numbskull. If that's so disrespectful to you, I don't know what to tell you, guy. It's not very top G of you to really be offended by that. It's a joke, okay? Do I need to, like... Like, I don't even know if you're joking here or not. Hopefully you are. But, like, come on, bro. And I'm not even saying you've been disrespectful. A punk. Okay, a punk. Holy shit, dude. How evil of a word. A punk. Because you're trying to punk me. Do you know what punking is? What you said was punking. It's just me in the chat, lol. Lamau. That's punking me. Because there's one person in the chat. It's not bad or good. It's not... I don't care if it's respectful. It's called joshing around. You can't seriously be, like, this mad about it. I can't tell if you're joking or not. I hope you are. Not very top G of you to be actually offended by this. Like, punking is a thing that people do. I don't know. Yeah. It's another joke. You're an Andrew Tate fan. Don't you all think you're all top Gs? Is that the point of being an Andrew Tate fan? Just a G, okay. Well then, not very G of you to get offended by being called a punk. I don't know. the fuck's gonna happen here? If I say he's right on some things, that means I'm a fan. I don't know. You came in here. I'm just assuming. You might not be an Andrew Tate fan. I don't know. It's again a joke. I don't know. I can't tell if you're joking still. Jesus. This is some brainworms level shit, dude. This all started from me calling you a punk. I can't tell if you're actually triggered or not. This is really sad. Again, like, hopefully you're joking. Maybe we can still set up that, like, call or whatever, so we can talk about Andrew Tate stuff. But, I don't know. Jesus. Assumptions. Yeah, because I'm making a joke. Oh my god. Okay, I'm now fully committed. No more assumptions, okay? I fully commit. You're not joking. This is really sad. I'm fully engulfed in the idea that you're not joking and that this is really sad. What the hell just happened? What? What is happening? Loyalty to England, but I left them. Oh, the Nationalist Party has to become a leader. Okay, hold on. Let me just... hopefully this isn't too far back. I'm certainly happy, dude. I don't know. I guess we're not having that chat anymore. That's my assumption here now. Is it okay if I assume something else? Sorry I called you punk, I guess. I don't know. I'm very surprised we're this deep after me calling you punk. Very surprising. Didn't know I had this power. Oh, I still get loyalty to England. Interesting. Or did I do... Oh no, sorry. I did the same thing I did before. I am Confucian. If I do it this way, do I just stick with them? Like, I just stay now, right? I'm part of them? Yeah. But I don't want to do that. Oh, you didn't even link the other video you wanted me to watch. So I guess we're not watching that either. I hesitate calling people anything that brings them down. Then why did you try to bring me down by saying that you're the only viewer here? That I'm like only talking to myself, like only talking to you when I'm making a YouTube video. I'm confused. And also, calling somebody a punk is really gonna bring you down that much when you punked me? Like, that's just what happened. I don't know what to tell you. Like, getting called a punk is really affecting you this badly. I don't know. Maybe we're just built different, but, like, I don't know what to tell you. It's not. It clearly is. I don't know. Unless, Chris, you're going to come out and tell me you're joking suddenly. You seem pretty riled up that I called you a punk. But it's still bad that I called you a punk because you tried to punk me. Like, you know that what you did was trying to punk me, right? Like, that's the... Like, do we have a different meaning of what the word punk means? When you said, bro, you're just talking to... I'm the only one in chat, Lamau. That's punking me, whether you intended it or not. That's being a punk. You're like, oh, haha. I'm gonna point out this thing. Like, I'm streaming it on a... Like, I'm gonna make a YouTube video. Like, I'm gonna talk as if you're not the only person here, obviously. Unless because we were having a discussion. Like... If you don't see that as punking, I don't know what to tell you. Unless we have like totally different views on what punking means again, right? Like, I don't know. But I'm only the one person in chat because I see just myself. Yeah, you're right that you're only a person in chat. But what it comes off as is that you were saying that, haha, Lamau, I'm the only person in chat. You're talking to yourself. Like, because I was talking to multiple people. Because I'm, like, the point of this is to make it into a YouTube video. So again, like I said, whether you intended it or not, you punked me. So I called you a punk. I don't know what's so hard to understand about this. It's not bad. I'm not mad. I'm like, I don't care. But you seem to be really hung up on being called punk. That's really weird. You just took... And you're taking me calling you a punk as a really bad thing, when it's not a bad thing. You said we're on like two just different sides of the same coin? Like, I don't know why you're so worked up about being called a punk. I don't know. I don't understand. You can call me a dumb fuck all you want. I don't care. And that's like significantly worse than being called a punk. I'm just really confused is all. It is a bad thing, bruv. Yeah, and then and mentioning that I only have 0 viewers is also a bad thing. I don't... Again, we're on the same coin here. You punked me by saying that I'm the only one talking to you. Like, right? That's a form of... You're bringing light to something that's... I won't call you... You didn't call... well, I say, yeah, okay, that's fine. I don't care. Yeah, I don't... It's like... It's like if you were to bring up... Do you know? Yeah, it's like if you were to bring up like, hey, bro, you have a receding hairline. You know that? It's like, okay, thanks, buddy. Like, thanks, punk. You did! You... Okay, never mind. Just drop it, dude. Okay, I'm sorry I called you punk. I don't care anymore. This is so dumb. Holy shit. Can we just move the fuck on? Can you just PM me if you want to have a discussion about Andrew Tate stuff? Or link me the video of the other thing you want me to watch. This is so dumb. This is the dumbest conversation I've ever been a part of. Yeah, I'm not calling you dumb. Oh, that's a Black Knight from Dark Souls, dude. That's cool. Bro, okay, if you don't understand the like implication of your words, I don't know what to tell you. If you were to sit here and say, "Hey, buddy, what's wrong with your hairline?" You're not telling me I have a receding hairline, but you're saying that, right? Do you understand it? So you said, It's just me in the chat, Lamau. It's just me in the chat. That's you saying I have one viewer. By the way, like I don't know if you understand the implication. It seems like you don't understand the implication, but you're clearly implying that I have one viewer in the chat by saying it's just me in the chat, Lamau. Again, like that's the implication. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, I don't really care. And I called you a punk for it because you punked me by saying that. Like, it's okay. We can josh around with each other, dude. Again, I don't know why you're so worked up about the word punk. I'm really confused. Jesus. Oh, God. I don't know if you post the video or not. There's no link anywhere. Oh my, because you don't even have the link. Or did you post the link and it get blocked? Pink hair guy versus Andrew Tate. Oh my God, this is gonna be the stupidest thing I've ever watched in my life. Like this guy? Some random fuck? That's clearly here just for views, but okay. What's that do? What does it counter about? This video? Yeah. Oh, Lord. Okay.
You say a lot of stuff about women like
Watch
that
this
they're
first.
your property.
That's not what I said. I was talking about an OnlyFans company when that question was asked. But I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So if she wants to do OnlyFans, she owes him some money because she's his.
Well, that's crazy. That one's crazy.
See what I'm saying? Do you get the problem with that clip there? Asks, do you think women are property? He says, no, I was talking about OnlyFans. But if a woman is a man's woman, she's his. Like, what? That, okay. There's an implication there that she is owned by him.
Because I actually...
Oh. Bucky,
what's good, Tommy? How you doing, man?
What's good, Tommy?
doing good. Andrew, how we doing, buddy?
I'm not bad, sir. You?
I'm doing pretty well, man. I'm in the airport. I was going to take my shirt off so I could step up to you, but
Take your shirt off right now.
I can't do it, dude. I'm in the airport. I don't want to get
Where are you flying?
I'm going home. I'm in New York City right now. I'm going back to Oregon.
Unfortunate.
So, yeah. So Andrew, he's a big fan of you.
He's a pro. He's the oldest pro Fortnite player.
I am the oldest pro Fortnite player indeed. And dude, I have nothing personal against you, Andrew, but
He
like
thinks you're a bitch though.
some of your philosophy, I don't think you're a bitch. I think you're a water boy,
Don't
you
switch
know,
up.
for water boy for patriarchy and capitalism and whatnot, right? And sort of regressive ideas about manhood. And which is why the teenage audience like consumes it so much, you know? You got these young boys that are like grappling with feelings of power.
Okay, so off the bat, this guy's applying a lot of things that Andrew Tate can easily just say, "Oh, it's a lie," and then own the debate. So like, if I was this guy, I wouldn't enter the call and like assume a bunch of things, quote unquote, assume a bunch of things. These things might be true, but in this context of this debate, of this clip, the 20-minute clip, he's gonna go on and he could just say that's not true, and then all he has to do is prove that that's not true, and then it's an easy dunk. This is not gonna go well from the start, but okay.
Powerlessness, and you come in and
The way that you should ask Andrew Tate questions is you go in there and you go, "Hey, like, what do you think about this? Hey, I saw this clip. Can you clarify this? Hey, can you?" And then you let him walk into the wall himself.
offer them like the ultimate machismo ideas of like how to be a man, but you're so off base, bro. It's like it's tragic, really.
So you think that I am inspiring the youth of today, the masculine youth of today, to become men, and you think that's a negative thing? Why? Why?
No, I don't think you're inspiring them to become men, because like real men are in touch with their emotions and their vulnerability and don't need to be like wielding and taking power. Real men are self-aware, and you come in offering them like somebody that they can follow, where you want to be like the savior, the guy, the badass.
If you're a man who's in touch with his strength.
So again, he can easily dismantle. We'll see what he says, but he can easily dismantle us by just saying, "No, I don't think that," and then move on. Right? Like it's really easy to dismantle because like he's basically making it out so that he hopes that like Andrew Tate will like admit that he thinks he's God or whatever, and then like if he does or doesn't, it doesn't really matter, right? But, anyway.
Strength and his masculine power. Why does that mean you're not capable of reflecting inwards and being self-aware? They're not mutually exclusive. If you're a man who's in touch with his strength and his masculine power, why does that mean you're not capable of reflecting inwards and being self-aware? They're not mutually exclusive.
Sure, but it also doesn't mean that you are in touch with it. Just because you're strong and fit doesn't mean you understand your feelings. Doesn't mean you understand why you're sad or who you are or what you like and where you are in life and what your goals are and all that stuff. Yeah, just because you're strong and fit doesn't mean you know anything about any of that stuff.
Well, apparently for you they are though, because on the one hand you talk about how.
See, again, like he just says something that Andrew can just say, "Oh, who says that?" and then he just has to disprove that he never said it.
You made your first million while exploiting women on webcams.
Incorrect.
And then you post on the Instagram post about how you and your brother are going to bring purity back to women. So yeah, you absolutely lack self-awareness because you yourself admit you made your initial money on sort of like you profited off the supposed impurity of women around sex.
All right. So first thing, the word exploiting is an incorrect use of language because I've never exploited anyone in my life.
Well, let me ask you this. When you made your first million with the women in the webcams, how many of the women who are on those webcams earning for you, how many of them are millionaires now?
The ones who made millions are also millionaires. It was 50%. It was 50-50.
You know what I'm saying?
I would argue the point here, sir. I would argue the point here that when a girl worked for me, it was 50-50. If you work for nearly any other business in the world, you do not get 50% of the takings. If you go work at McDonald's and you ring up a register for an hour, you do not get 50% of that register. So that is a lie. Most companies pay you less than 1%. So to sit here and say that I was exploiting people is absolute fallacy. So that's the first thing.
It's like...
So
See, easy. Just say it's not true and then explain a little bit
I'll
about
let you talk. Now it's my turn.
Now, here's the problem, right? Is that if this guy had a brain, you can explain. You have to go into the deep explanation on why like pimping is like bad or like exploitative. I don't even argue that it's really that exploitative, but it's still like bad because it's. Well, actually, I would need to know exactly how he was doing it. For the most part, it's bad because you're like selling other people's bodies to make you money, and that's just kind of a weird one. But again, I don't really know how his business practice was going. he could just say that, oh, I hosted the website, like I hosted a house for them, and they were doing their own OnlyFans things, and I was just a host for them, and in return I got 50% of their earnings. But it's like, okay, is that true? Are we sure about that? Anyways, this doesn't really matter. I don't really give a shit about any of this stuff.
That's the first fallacy. The second fallacy is this whole patriarchy bullshit you're saying that are outdated ideas of masculinity.
Yeah.
The idea of patriarchy is not an outdated idea of masculinity. Perhaps in the West, in a declining empire, as we've already discussed on this stream, in an empire which is in absolute decline, you can have men who sit here and think there's absolutely nothing necessary about masculinity in the modern world, and that you don't need to be strong or brave or any of these things. You can sit around and cry and you're still a man. That is not true in most places on the planet. In most places on the planet, men need to be capable and competent, because if they don't, they do not survive. And I'll tell you something now, sir. I'll tell you something else now.
How is that true? What place do men need to be capable and competent, quote unquote capable and competent, to survive? What, like, we'll go over this again. But
already discussed on this stream. In an empire which is in absolute decline, you can have men who sit here and think there's absolutely nothing necessary about masculinity in the modern world, and that you don't need to be strong or brave or any of these things. You can sit around and cry and you're still a man. That's not
what patriarchy is.
True in most places on the planet. In most places on the planet, men need to be capable and competent, because if they don't, they do not survive.
And what does capable and competent mean? All right. So he can say this, and then in his brain he could be assuming all of the positive things of masculinity. Great, awesome. What about the negative things? What about the actual meaning of patriarchy, which is like men controlling the world, or like a country or whatever, right? Does Andrew Tate want only men running your country? That's what patriarchy means to most people, is that men should just run everything. Does Andrew Tate want that? Is that a positive or negative? If Andrew Tate wants that, well, he's wrong. That shouldn't be how things work. Women should have equal opportunity to run the country as much as men do. Because we know that women are just as capable of running a country or running things that men are. And I can prove that to you in multiple different ways. Guns, not so many guns.
And I'll tell you something now, sir. I'll tell you something else now. You will sit here and talk right now about the patriarchy and how you can be in touch with your feelings and all this bullshit. The second you're physically assaulted or physically threatened, the first thing you do is you call a toxically masculine police officer to turn up with a weapon to protect you, because you cannot protect yourself. You are not against the idea of
What does that have anything to do with being in touch with your own feelings? What the fuck? Doesn't make any sense.
masculine power. You're not against the idea of men who have masculine imperatives to defense. All you've done is outsource it to someone else to do at the end of a phone call because you're too scared to do it yourself. So you're fucking lying. You're lying.
No.
That's not. Why can't the police force also be like less patriarchal? I don't understand. Why can't the woman why can't a woman officer show up and do the same job, right? Whole thing makes no sense.
These ideas, you don't want to do them yourself, and you hope everyone else does them for you, so you can sit around and play fucking video games.
See, the point I posit is there's more than just physicality with.
What does doing all these things mean? What does any of that? What the fuck did he mean at the end there? You want people to do things for you, so you can sit at home and play video games? Like what? Do what for you? Be a cop? Like what? Are you just, as everyone's supposed to be their own cop? Because newsflash, not everyone can be their own cop to every individual. I don't know what.
With men. And you talk about exploitation, you absolutely exploit people
Yeah,
with
we're already
your
off the other
affiliate
topic.
links. That is exploitation.
No, stop
Like,
randomly bringing up random bullshit. Because now all Andrew Tate has to do is go, that's not how that works. And then we move the fuck on because he has no idea what the fuck it is.
Fucking clicks know, anybody who's an influencer knows that affiliate links are total bullshit because basically.
Okay, affiliate links aren't total bullshit. It doesn't really matter. It's not like the. God, fuck. This is so dumb. This is already so dumb. Tate's affiliate link program thing, whatever, is bullshit not because it's a scam. Well, it is a scam. But not because it's affiliate links, but because it's probably not that positive, but we don't know. So there's not much of a point in bringing it up because you don't know what the fuck his course is teaching him or teaching people. But we can guess, and we can make a solid guess that it's probably nothing positive, because most things that are like that aren't giving really great financial advice. They're giving basic financial advice you can read from some books, or go to get a Econ 101 class, some very basic financial stuff, and then moving on from there. Like, go out and buy things at you can get on the internet for free. Fucking Gary Vaynerchuk will tell you this shit for free sometimes. Go out and go to garage sales, buy some stuff and sell them. Boom. Easy money. Like, okay.
Basically, you give an affiliate link to somebody who promotes you, and he makes a little money off of it, but you're getting free advertising. That's exploitation.
Again, now you just have to explain that that's not exploitation. And it's really fucking easy to do because the person is choosing to do that. So now you have to explain, like, it's really dumb to bring up the word exploitation. It's a scam, for sure, and it's an easy way to make marketing. It's a really smart idea to get marketing shit done. Like, holy fuck, but Jesus Christ.
No influencer is going to take an affiliate link position because it's absolute exploitation. Like, you practically exist on it. Now,
Cool.
the idea of manhood is you can talk.
You're not getting this, you won't get any of my points, because you, my friend, know everything. You the real G, Lamau. Ciao. What? Bro, if you're not getting this, you won't get my points, because... Dude, nothing has been explained so far. There hasn't been a single point made in this whole discussion. Nobody's made a point. This pink-haired loser is saying you're being exploitative, and Andrew Tate has the easiest dunks of his life. It's not exploitative. Boom, done, gone. I wasn't being exploitive to those women on OnlyFans. Boom, done, gone. Because the word exploitative is a very serious, huge fucking word that has nothing to do with anything he's doing. Is his affiliate link program a little sketchy? Little scammy? Yeah, probably. Is he exploiting anyone? Not really. He might be exploiting the algorithm, if anything, right? But he's not really exploiting anyone. He might be scamming some people, maybe, depending on how the teaching process is going. He's definitely taking advantage of people, right? He's taking advantage of people making... But that's the whole point. Like, that's... Nothing wrong with taking advantage of people. Well, technically. There's some ways that is obviously not good. But that, you know, you can get into... But exploitative is like a really bad version of taking advantage of people. If someone's like, hey, I'll give you 25 cents per view if you just make like random videos about me, that's not scamming the person. The person is making money off of like the affiliate link, but you're just getting free advertisement. And now this pink-headed person says that that's exploitative because that person should be getting that money, which in some other world that might be true. But this kid or whoever the fuck is pumping out these videos has signed a contract and agreed to make videos to make 25 cents per views, or however the affiliate link program worked, right? Whatever it is. And now that's free money to that person making the views, making the videos, because it's really fucking easy to make those videos. You edit some stuff together, you make a little thing, post it on TikTok, boom, done. They click the affiliate link, you get $1 per click. And that's like $100 for you, easy, done. Holy shit, how easy was that? $100 made. You could be making way more. You can be making so much more, but that's not really like, you know, Andrew Tate came to you with this, gave you the affiliate link, you moved on there. No one's really getting, like, people might be getting a little bit scammed. You could be making more money than if you didn't do that. But that, like, that's what you agreed to. I don't know. It's like not, it's really easy to debunk anything he's saying. I don't know what you mean. There's nothing for me to get. Andrew Tate hasn't made a single point. And the only other point he made, I like talked it through because he hasn't explained further.
Talk about like purely physical strength. Like, first off, if I get assaulted,
I understand that. Like, hey, if you want to duck out of the conversation, that's fine. That's up to you, bro. But if you're just gonna come into a chat and just call me a bot for everything I say, that's your problem. That's not my problem. Okay.
Not gonna call the police. Okay?
I've been able to fully answer any points Andrew Tate has brought up. He's brought up one in this conversation so far. We're 5 minutes in.
Okay? Because the police aren't actually very adept at actually solving.
This dumb fuck is bringing up a bunch of random shit that's really easy for him to shut down. So this guy's right now going to talk about how the police are inept at taking down stuff. All Andrew Tate has to do is go, actually, police are good at their job. And it's an easy dunk. This guy hasn't said anything. This idiot is stupid. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I clarified my own. I did something that Andrew Tate doesn't know how to do. I clarified my response by saying, I said taking advantage of people isn't bad. Oh, actually, there are ways that you can make it bad. I did that. Andrew Tate hasn't clarified a single statement he's ever fucking made. We can watch it happen in real time. I can go back and we can watch that statement he made and how he didn't clarify it. He said what he said and he moved on. If he can clarify it, he can make another video about it. I clarified my statement in the moment. Andrew Tate hasn't made a clarification for what he said. We can go back and watch what he said.
I would argue the point here that when a girl worked for me, it was 50-50. If you work for nearly any other business in the world, you do not get 50% of the takings. If you
This is easy dunk.
I'll let you decline.
Oh, here.
That's the first fallacy. The second fallacy is this whole patriarchy bullshit you're saying that are outdated.
Waste of time I'm seeing talking to you, bro. If it's a waste of time, bro, hey, that's on you again, bro. I don't know what to tell you. If you think it's a waste of time, that's on you. I can already see it too, where it might be a waste of time because you're just gonna call me a bot and move on. You haven't thought about anything I've said. Again, we can go through this right now. We can go through it right now. He's gonna say something, and I'm gonna talk about it, and we'll see what you say.
Ideas.
Again, you seem to have no free time, but you're in my chat, so you can come on Discord right now. We can talk about this right now. We can go through this video right now. Do you want to do that? Do you want to go through this video together right now? Or are you busy? I mean, you might be busy at work or something. That's totally fine. You might be just like watching this on the side. But we can go through this video together right now. Again, I'll say it a million times. This pink-haired idiot is dumb, but I'll answer whatever points Andrew Tate has brought up. He's brought up one so far that I can actually respond to. That isn't an easy dunk for him, which is this patriarchy thing. Nothing, MK? Journey? Nothing? Waiting on you. Okay, I'm just gonna assume you're gone, I guess. But we'll go through this part again.
Yeah.
The idea of patriarchy is now an outdated idea of masculinity. Perhaps in the West, in a declining empire, as we've already discussed on this stream, in an empire which is in absolute decline, you can have men who sit here and think there's absolutely nothing necessary about masculinity in the modern world, and that you don't need to be strong or brave or any of these things. You can sit around and cry and you're still a man. That is not true in...
So, go with this first part, okay? Saying that it's totally okay, saying that there's no need for masculinity in the world. Nobody with a serious tone in their voice will ever say that all aspects of masculinity are bad and should be thrown away. Nobody worth their salt will say that. I'm never going to fucking say that, okay? There are certain aspects of masculinity that are positive and are needed in society. Being strong is one of them, okay? Being mentally tough is one of them, okay? Those are all things that are positive. But there are negative aspects of masculinity that we should get rid of. There are the idea of patriarchy, right? The idea that men should run the world is outdated. Women and men can both run the world just fine. We can have a mix of both. It's totally okay for there to be a woman prime minister or president of a country. It's totally cool. I don't know if this is a newsflash for you. I can explain that to you if you want. I can explain that that's a thing that we can do if you want. Andrew Tate saying that this is impossible is false. He's wrong. I can explain it more in detail, but going off of his points, right? Where he says right here, fuck me, screw this.
and that you don't need to be strong or brave.
You don't need to be strong and brave. This is not true. Nobody's saying that those aspects of masculinity need to be thrown away. You can be You can be brave and strong all you want. That's a positive aspect of masculinity. A negative aspect of masculinity might be that you're like fucking overly rage-inducing or whatever. Like yeah. Men have a propensity to be like overly violent, whereas women don't. Women typically don't kill people. Men typically kill people. That's a toxic trait of masculinity. Because it seems like men are more capable. Well, they are more capable, and they're more willing to kill people. That's a toxic trait of masculinity. We should lessen that. We should get rid of that from society. That's it. That's easy. Wow, easy clap a dunk. If you disagree with that, I don't know what to tell you.
These things, you can sit around and cry and you're still a man. That is not true in most places on the planet. In most places on the planet, men need to be capable and competent, because if they don't, they do not survive. And I'll tell you something.
And then this idea of men need to be capable and competent in most places, or they do not survive. Where? In what places? And if you list those places, are those places we really want to live? Can you list a place that is ideal for us to live in, that have those ideals? That's a lot of ideals. But if you can think of examples of places that are perfect places to live in current society that have those same ideals, please let me know.
Something now, sir. I'll tell you something else now. You will sit here and talk right now about the patriarchy and how you can be in touch with your feelings and all this bullshit. The second you're physically assaulted or physically threatened, the first thing you do is you call a toxically masculine police officer to turn up with a weapon to protect you.
And then again, why does the police officer have to be toxically masculine? What about this whole what is inherent about police being toxically masculine?
Because you cannot protect yourself. You are not against the idea of masculine power. You're not against the idea of men who have masculine imperatives to defense. All you've done is outsource it to someone else to do at the end of a phone call because you're too scared to do it yourself. So you're fucking lying. You're lying.
And too scared to do it yourself. Are all men supposed to be capable police officers? Are all men, like, this guy could be 5 foot nothing. Do you think he's really stopping a 6 foot dude? Unless, of course, he has a gun, I guess. But if the other guy has a gun, like, now you're just in a shootout? How do you solve these issues? Besides, should we just abolish police officers? Like, what is Andrew Tate's point there? Of, like, if you can't do it yourself. Not everyone can do everything.
No, that's absolutely incorrect.
You don't want to do them yourself, and you hope everyone else does them for you, so you can sit around and play fucking video games.
See, the point I posit is there's more than just physicality with men. And you talk about exploitation. You absolutely exploit people with your affiliate.
I don't care about exploitation.
The idea.
Run away, because that just defeats the point of the question.
Well, what are we? Are we here to talk about some hypothetical assault?
No, we're not here to talk about.
99% of Americans never even encounter a violent crime.
We're not here to talk about
this whole
hypothetical
machismo
assault.
thing is like nonsense.
No, we're not here to talk about hypothetical assaults. We're here to talk about the hypothetical paradigms and ideas around masculinity, because you started this conversation saying that the patriarchy and capitalism and all this bullshit. And I'm sitting here saying to you, you live in a very soft society. You're completely correct. 99%
incorrect.
You live in a soft society. If you were the same person in most places on the planet, you would have had your ass beat.
Hey, but are those places we want to live? That's the question. Do you want to live in a place where you're quote-unquote ass beat for being not a quote-unquote tough guy? If you're under 5 feet, should you just die? Is any man under 6 foot, should they just die because they're not strong enough to fight against men who are taller than 6 feet? Should they just be killed? Is that an ideal world to live in? Where men who aren't quote unquote strong enough to fight on their own should just be dead? Like, what is this? Where does Andrew Tate want us to live? That's the question. He says if you go anywhere else on the planet, you'll die. Okay, I don't want to live anywhere else on the fucking world. Like, most people that you're talking to, Andrew Tate can live there because he's rich as fuck. He's not having anyone break into his goddamn house. He's built a security system. Why does he have that? Why does he have a big-ass security system with bodyguards and shit like that? Why does he need that? If can't he just handle it on his own? Obviously, he'll argue that he does handle it on his own by paying for it, right? But not everyone has your lifestyle, Andrew. That's the point. That's the problem.
Because you are a
Dude,
weakling, and weaklings are not respected. Let me tell you something, my friend. I'll let you talk afterwards. Never in human history, in any single civilization, in any single empire across the history of Earth, have men been celebrated for their weakness. Ever.
What is weakness? Again, you gotta clarify this too. What is weakness? Is crying a weakness to men? Because I bet you $20,000 it's not. Bet you real money, it's not. Like just the by the way, just the action of crying.
Once.
Like your mom died. Guess what, guys? It's if your mom dies, you can cry.
If you were an Aztec or the Mao dynasty from China all the way to South America, in every single history book you can read, men who are respected and men.
By the way, I like how he's mentioning 2 empires that got crushed, but it's okay. It's fine. Those empires don't exist anymore, by the way. For all his touting of these male ideals, those empires fell.
Who had stories written about them were written about them because they were strong. Weak men have never been respected. Weak men have never mattered. For you to come along and say, I think it's okay to be weak is fine.
Hey. Again, no one's defined anything. Andrew Tate thinks this guy wants weak men. This guy thinks that what Andrew Tate is describing is toxic. Nobody has an idea of who the fuck anyone is saying. Or what the fuck anyone is saying. This guy's idea, or this guy's ideas of men, Andrew Tate thinks is weak, and we can explain to him why it's not weak. And this guy thinks that everything that Andrew Tate wants is toxic. But none of them have any idea what either of them want in a man or anything.
Fine. That is your initiative. That is your decision.
Because nobody said it.
Because you lack brave. You lack balls.
No,
you lack bravery.
lack balls. Dude, I have more balls than you'll ever have, boss. Because you're changing.
Look, now they're going to go back and forth and say that, no, I have bigger balls. No, I have bigger balls. But no one has any definition of what the fuck balls means. That's the problem.
Goalpost here, because you're the one who's sitting here calling emotional strength and emotional vulnerability. You're defining it as weakness. But it's not.
All forms of strength are important. You're saying
It's
that.
not.
Yes, it is. Physical strength is just as important as emotional strength.
Okay, so look, there's a little bit of clarification. Physical strength is just important as emotional strength. Oh, that sounds like normal. Cool. Let's see where this goes. Now this guy's going to say no. He's a dumb fuck.
Emotional strength is actually more powerful than
Nobody
physical
cares.
strength.
Okay.
Because
Who gives a fuck which one is more or less powerful? It doesn't matter.
the fact of the matter, no matter how physically strong.
The question is the application of it all. Should you be a certain way simply because you're strong? Or like, should you live a certain, like, I don't know. We'll see where this goes.
Somebody bigger could come along and beat your ass, but it's emotional strength that helps you survive the ass beating.
You're right.
Not
You're right.
physical strength.
You
I
know
know
what,
I'm right.
You're right. That's a good point. You're saying so when someone comes along to assault you, you won't call the police afterwards and you won't fight back. You'll lay in a ball, you'll get an ass kicking, but you're emotionally strong enough to just deal with the fact that you got an ass whoop in front of everyone and you're weak. And that's fine. And everyone should be like you. And that, you know what we call.
Okay, but oh god, this is so dumb. No, nobody's saying anything in this entire fucking conversation. This is a complete waste of time.
People like you are called in most places in the world.
And fucking
People like you
MK
are
Journey
called
left
in
too.
most
I'm
places in the
literally
world
wasting my time. here.
Victims.
We're
You're called
called
prey.
studs.
You're a prey.
We're called studs.
And let me tell you something. When I
Because here's the counter to this, okay? Andrew, guess what? You could be emotionally strong and defend yourself and call the cops. All three could be true. Okay? I can take this fucking baseball bat I have here, beat the shit out of a home invader, and still call the cops, okay? And have both coming on the way at the same time. While the cops are on their way, maybe I'm sitting around somewhere waiting to see if I have to defend myself. I'm not going to go seek out the home invader and beat the shit out of him on purpose. But if the home invader decides to come downstairs, I'm going to smack him in the head with my baseball bat. It's just, that's what's going to happen. But I'm not going to go seek out the home invader. I'm not going to have a personal vendetta against the home invader. If the home invader wants to take some things, they might be able to do that because I don't have a lot of attachment to items in my house. Now, if I did have certain attachments to the items in my house, I might go up there and defend those items in my house. But I'm also going to call the cops.
inspire men to grow up and be their biggest, strongest version of themselves, emotionally, mentally, physically, in every single realm, that is not a negative thing. There's nothing wrong with a man being big and strong. And let me tell you one more thing. We're sitting here talking to professional video game players. You're a professional Fortnite player yourself.
I am.
I don't know how the game works. I've never played the game.
And I was a professional musician and a director. I've done a great many things.
Perfect, good. And you're obviously a successful, smart individual. You're obviously mentally intelligent, right? I'm not talking
Absolutely.
about... I'm not saying that just because someone's strong that they don't have to be mentally adept. I'm not saying that somebody doesn't have to be emotionally adept just because they're strong. I'm not saying that.
Okay. Cool. We're getting somewhere. Wow. Let's see if you can clarify more on what he means.
I'm saying that physical strength is also an important thing. But let's look at the video game Fortnite, which I've never played. It might be incorrect. But if you have stats on your character, you're going to try and max out your strength character. You're not going to have a character which is weak. Every single.
And then this is where it all falls apart. You're going to try to max out. You're going to try to max out your strength stat. Why can't he max out his intelligence stat or his charisma stat or his anything else? Why? Andrew Tate will say that one is not more important than the other one, and then proceed to say that it's more important than anything else. Can't a character max out his intelligence stat? Why can't they do that? Why do they have to max out their strength stat? I don't need to max out my strength stat.
Single person, if they're given a video game character and say.
But again, Andrew Tate will say that intelligence is applied to strength. But no one else, pink-haired buddy here, doesn't understand that, and you haven't clarified that. That's the whole issue.
Choose what statistics you want, is going to click max strength every single time, and then they're going to go back into the real world and pretend strength doesn't matter. Strength does matter. The difference is in the real world, it's hard to achieve, and because it's hard to obtain, it's the ostrich problem. You don't want to accept that it's hard to do. You don't want to go through the pain to get it, so you want to pretend it doesn't matter. Just because you don't want to go through the bullshit it requires to be a physically dangerous individual does not mean physical dangerous individuals are not respected by society.
So
and I'll tell you one more thing, my friend. One more thing.
Right.
If me and you were to stand side by side in front of 100 women, in front of 100 fucking police officers, 100 fucking enemies who want to kill us, whatever it is, they would all choose to fuck with you before they choose to fuck with me. Because they'd look at me and I have a certain status and a certain presence which comes from my physical stature. Not just of my capability, but because of the things I've gone through to become this physical specimen of man. They know I'm not the kind of guy who you really want to mess with. They look at you and go, he is a victim. Because that's what you look like, my friend, and it's your own choice.
See, that's just it, though. The only reason they would choose you in that element is because of the patriarchal fucking male-dominated society
Here
that
we fucking go.
So, this is the here's the crux of the problem. Because current society, or past society, has chosen quote-unquote strong men to lead the world, Andrew Tate thinks that that's the correct way to go forward in the world. Pink hair dipshit here's broader point is that no, we can move forward in the world with intelligent men instead of strong men. We don't need physical strength anymore like we did in the past. We can move forward with intelligent men that do math problems. That's how we can move forward in the world. That's the crux of the problem here. Pink hair dipshit doesn't know how to explain this to Andrew Tate, and Andrew Tate is stuck in the past. We don't need strong, masculine men, quote, big, burly men to lead the world anymore. We can do it with intelligent men and more emotionally available men and blah, blah, blah. We don't need you to be super jacked. Yes, if we go back 50 years, 100 years, whatever, you might die because we don't live in that world anymore. That's the point. Now, Andrew Tate will say that that world is a bad world. The world where that intelligent men lead the world is a bad man. Now, it'd be hard for him to do that because the word intelligent, I don't know how you can weasel your way out of that one. I think he would just try to associate the word intelligence with strength. Obviously, that's what he would do. But anyways, he will say that no, like that world will lead to the fall of the empire, like it has in the Western world. And then all I have to show is empirically that that's not true. Places like Norway, Canada, all the Western countries have the highest quality of life. That quality of life isn't diminishing anytime soon. And the quality of life in all the places that you think are quote-unquote better in terms of how they act or how their men are perceived in the world, those places have worse qualities of life. That's a big faction.
Here we
All
go.
right.
Here's the deal, Andrew.
This is fun. No. I'm not done.
No, wait. Because
Name
hey, Andrew, listen to me.
from history that wasn't patriarchal. Name
Exactly. See, he's going back to the past. Name a society from history that wasn't patriarchal. That's the past, Andrew. We're moving on to the future now. That's the problem here. You are unwilling to move on to the future because you think the past is the way to go. I can name hundreds of thousands of societies that were patriarchal that collapsed. Like you mentioned, those two empires, the Aztecs and the Qing dynasty, or the Mongolian Empire, or whatever in China. Guess what, Andrew? Both of those empires collapsed. Why did they collapse? Let me tell you, it wasn't because they suddenly became not patriarchal. They were very much still patriarchal during their collapse. So, being patriarchal or not being patriarchal, being led by men and not being led by men, has little to no bearing on will your society collapse. Now, this stupid nation joined the fucking Russians, so I can't really... I need them to go to war against somebody. I don't know if they ever will.
Name a society from history that was not patriarchal.
See, listen to me though. That is why people like yourself are bugging and going into hyper mode right now. Because society's changing. Society is changing.
I'll tell you why, my friend. I'll tell you why we cannot name a single society in history across the entire planet that was not patriarchal. Because patriarchal societies are optimized to survive. When things get
That's not true. What evidence do you have for that? Because I can name countless patriarchal societies that have fallen and crumbled. The Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, the Soviet Union, Nazi Germany, I don't know. That was pretty patriarchal, right? Ran by men, led by men. The Mongolian Empire, the Qing Dynasty, Xing Dynasty. I forget what this is called. I forget how they pronounce Q's in China. Japan. All of these places are patriarchal and have collapsed.
difficult, when people are put in survival situations, we naturally revert to our gender roles. I'll tell you something. If we were all on a ship...
We're not in survival. We're not going... The point of modern society is to never go back to that. Why would you want to go back to survival situations? That's his point. That's dipshit Pinkhair's point here, is that we're no longer in a survival zone. We're not going there anytime soon. That's the point.
And the ship got shipwrecked, the men would start building and digging and hunting, and the women would start gathering and doing what women are naturally adept at, because when it comes down to survival, you have to do what you are most competent at, and men are more competent at certain things, and females are more competent at certain things. I'm not saying
not all men, not all men, and not all females.
Now, again, this guy's right, that not all men and not all females. And in Andrew Tate's world, he could say yes or no to this, because it doesn't really matter, because any of the men that pink-haired buddy here would think about would just die in his society. So they wouldn't exist. They would be, in Andrew Tate's society, there would be only men that can deal with this and only females that can deal with certain other things, because the rest would just die.
My
there
point
are
is,
definitely
patriarchal societies are more competitive than any other type of society, because society functions better as a patriarchy. So the reason you cannot name a single...
I don't... Wait, can you name... Okay. But, I know. God damn it, this is so dumb. Because, again, I could just bring up the list of hundreds of thousands of nations and civilizations that were patriarchal and collapsed and died. And you can't really name... You can't name... Actually, yeah, you can't name a non-patriarchal society that has collapsed yet. Because none have. The United States hasn't. You can say that they are currently collapsing, but they haven't yet. So all pink-haired, to dunk on this guy right now, to dunk on Andrew Tate, all you have to do, pink-haired guy, is just say, can you name a non-patriarchal society that has collapsed? I'll name... first, name a bunch of patriarchal societies that have collapsed. Roman Empire, Byzantine Empire, Holy Roman Empire, French Empire, the British Empire... Blah, 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 blah. The list can go on and on and on. And then say, can you name any non-patriarchal societies that have collapsed? And Andrew Tate, I would be hard-pressed for him to be able to find an answer on that, because I don't know if I can. He might bring up stuff like the Soviet Union. That's possible, right? That's like, technically, I wouldn't really agree that that was a non-patriarchal society. Right? Arguably, it was still... It was less patriarchal, but, you know, Stalin was still running it. And again, my broader point is that none of this matters. Patriarchy, non-patriarchy. Like, the point, like, patriarchy, you should get away from it. Like, the point is that it doesn't really matter if it's my broader point is that it's not really a Doesn't really matter if your society is patriarchal or is patriarchal or isn't patriarchal. It'll still collapse based on different things that have nothing to do with patriarchy.
Society in history that was not a patriarchy is because all of the societies, and I'm sure there were some which were not patriarchal, were destroyed by patriarchal societies. They were wiped off the face of the planet because they are not competitive.
Do you have any proof for that? Is that real at all? I can name you patriarchal societies that were destroyed by their own toxicity. Right? Okay, so...
They don't have any books to read. They do not have monuments to find. And the point I'm making is that in the harsh reality of ultra-competitiveness, only patriarchal societies can survive. So the reason you cannot name one from history is because all the ones that tried this idea that you're trying to purport were destroyed in real time. And in the West, in America, as we stand right now in America, which I wouldn't even call it a patriarchal society because it isn't, because females have more rights under the law than men.
Oh my God, bro.
They do. And I'm telling you now,
are so
again, this doesn't really matter for my point, but...
and the patriarchy is disintegrated, all that's going to happen...
Arguably, we aren't in a patriarchal society, so it's interesting what you'll say here.
Is that other countries like Russia, like China, like countries which are still patriarchal, will remain more competitive than the West. And
what? Russia is more competitive than the West.
China. And the patriarchy is disintegrated, all that's going to happen is that other countries like Russia, like China, like countries which are still patriarchal, will remain more competitive than the West. And you're not going to fix the world. America's just going to end up a third world shithole. So throwing...
Yeah, okay, there's no proof for this, and he's just wrong. Russia is, I don't know if you've heard the news lately. Russia's falling apart right now, okay? Russia's collapsing. Russia's at war with Ukraine, and it's fucking losing. China arguably is competing with the United States, but China's also got a fuck ton of problems. Again, my point is that none of this has anything to do with patriarchy or non-patriarchy. It's a bullshit point. Nobody gives a fuck. Patriarchy doesn't dictate if your country's going to collapse or not. It's a million other factors. Right now in China, it's a fuck ton of environmental problems where they've just gone through a massive heat wave, and then a bunch of other social problems because they're a fucking dictatorship. In Russia, same thing, pretty much. Dictatorship is kind of the broad, you know, dividing force of that country. So again, now patriarchy has nothing to do with that, and we have a largely unpatriotic society. That sounds like the wrong word, but it's technically right. Patriotic, but that sounds like Anyways, largely non-patriotic society. And we're fine. Canada's great. Norway's great. All of the European Union is pretty good. The United States is not collapsing anytime soon. We're good. Andrew Tate is just this false idea that we're collapsing. Meanwhile, all these other countries that he's talking about are way closer to collapsing than the West has ever been.
The fucking patriarchy way. That's a fucking thing. You live in a clown world, my clown world.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I do live in a clown world because there are people like you that are sitting there pushing this inane philosophy. So yeah, I get it. I accept that. But first off, we haven't seen it.
I'm hungry. This is stupid.
Non-patriarchal society yet. We're definitely moving toward it. And if you want to look at America and look at some of the problems with America.
No, we're probably mostly in a largely non-patriarchal society.
Like, what problems do we have? Well, there's an enormous wealth gap. You mentioned the Roman Empire earlier. The Roman Empire didn't fall because of laziness. It fell because of overconfidence, because of an income gap between the richest and the poor, and because of political corruption. All three things that are sort of happening in America right now. So absolutely, America could fall.
Wait. What the fuck? The Roman Empire? What the hell is he talking about?
Yet. We're definitely moving toward it. And if you want to look at America and look at some of the problems with America, like what problems do we have? Well, there's an enormous wealth gap. You mentioned the Roman Empire earlier. The Roman Empire didn't fall because of laziness. It fell because of overconfidence, because
and the Roman Empire was definitely patriarchal. I don't know what the fuck this guy is talking about. Well, this pink hair guy's bringing up a good point technically. We'll see what Andrew Tate has to say about that.
Income gap between
the Roman. If he brings up the Roman Empire, like the Roman Empire was definitely a patriarchy when it fell. I don't know.
And because of political corruption, all three things that are sort of happening in America right now. So absolutely, America could fall, but it's not because men were turning soft, right? The idea of men being soft. The idea of men being soft, Andrew, is a battle cry of men who see that purely physical stature is no longer the only defining quality. Because like you said, they could line me and you up, and all those brutes like the cops or somebody looking for pure strength would choose you to defend them. But anybody who was from a marginalized group that was looking for an emotional defender, those people would pick me, right?
Why?
And they wouldn't pick the
I'm not
muscular
fucking
guy
marginalized man.
because they know that I have the inner strength to actually have an openness and a vulnerability that can relate to them and that can help them find that empowerment in themselves. I don't want to train people to be cheap. You know what I mean? Like, we go to your Instagram page and you talk about being a messiah and all this other BS. You want people to follow you like you're some sort of like deity boss. And that's actually a sign of your own weakness at work, right? That's coming from your own trauma, your own unhealed trauma.
Firstly, the fact you think that you're talking to marginalized people more than me, it doesn't even make sense. Because I'm talking to groups of people, you're talking to groups of people, and both of them include marginalized communities. Secondly, the fact that I'm actually mixed race. I grew up in the south side of Chicago with my father.
Absolutely.
I know more about marginalized communities than you do, because you are as white as they.
Oh my god, I don't care what stupid versus.
I never woke up because I'm brown, so I had to find this white guy with pink hair to fight for me. I woke up for myself, and that's the point. You fight for yourself. You fight for yourself when you're a man. That requires all forms of power, whether it be emotional, mental, and physical. You just sit here telling men they should be as weak as possible, sitting around doing fucking nothing. It's not good for society as a whole. And it's a patriarchal society.
So then, again, we're running into this clash of like people have no idea what the fuck they're talking about on either side. This guy isn't saying that all men should be weak and horrible, at least hopefully. And Andrew Tate is wanting to go back to some bygone past that we're not going towards anytime soon.
I'm not advocating for weakness. Like, I'm advocating for people to heal and to heal their trauma and not use their trauma like you do and then aim it at select groups of people in order to gain power and money, right, and status so you can walk around with a deity. Right.
I think all men, if you're a good man, you're gonna have a traumatic life. That's part of being a man. And I think
it's not even a part of being a man. It's a part of being a human being.
Like, so there's another problem there. Part of being a man is having a traumatic life. Why is that a virtue you want to tout? Why do you want that? Don't you want to move to a world that doesn't have that? And then Andrew Tate would come over and say like, no, that would cause society to collapse. Why? Why would that cause society to collapse? And they come up with some bullshit excuse, and I go, that doesn't seem to be happening in the United States. And now he'll say, oh no, the United States is definitely collapsing, blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, if you think the United States is collapsing, guess what? Russia and China and patriarchal societies are far closer to collapse than North America has ever been, okay? So we're good.
On the planet, you're gonna have a traumatic life, right? But you gotta heal the trauma. The trauma doesn't make you unless you heal it. If you don't heal it, you go around, say, dumping it on women, right? By waltzing around talking about how you gotta protect women, you gotta get a cut of her OnlyFans and all this because you own her private parts. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. That's your trauma speaking. It depends how you heal the trauma, right? And when I say that trauma is part of being a good man, you part of being a good man. I think you can be a very, very good woman with a good heart and be a good person. You don't need a traumatic life to be a good woman. However, to be a good man, you need to have a traumatic life because any man. I'll tell you why. Let me answer. Any man is not difficult.
Okay.
Well, any man is not gone through something that's difficult. It's not very good at being a man because when shit hits the fan, people turn to the nearest man in the room and say, "What is the solution?"
This is just not true. And I don't know how to explain this to people, but you don't need to go through trauma to be a good person. Fuck. Like, okay, what's funny is that this guy will say that this guy's a victim complex. Maybe he wouldn't, but I think most Andrew Tate fans would probably say that this guy's a victim complex. Andrew Tate is personified victim complex right now, saying that a man has to go through some shit to be a man.
Solution. Someone's broken a house, you go to the man. Fucking, there's a natural disaster, a hurricane, you go to the man. There's a war, you go to the man. So men who have not been through trauma are not very good at being men. Because they're capable of healing trauma.
Wait, pause right there, though, Andrew. Because you said when you go to war, you go to the men. But the only reason you have a war.
So Andrew Tate was triggered before Hassan came in.
Okay. That's why war exists in the first place.
So you're saying
if more women leaders, we wouldn't even have war. Okay, so if more women leaders, we wouldn't even have war. Men literally.
This is a dumb talking point. None of this matters. This has nothing to do with the other point he brought up. You should just talk about how, like, men. It's not true that men have to go through tough shit to be good men. And then if you want, now this purple hair guy is not gonna fucking tell you that. Like, there's no way this guy could get it through. But I would say for the most part, now it'd be hard for me to do this because like there's a 16-minute video behind me of that every Andrew Tate fan that watches this would be like, oh my god, what a bot! Oh my god, what a loser! But I don't think I've been through that much bad shit in my life. And I'm still a strong individual who's capable of defending himself, who's doing all these things that Andrew Tate is saying is positive. I would say I'm a pretty decent person. Again, you can ask me any kind of questions you want on this, and I'll happily answer them, right? On who a good man is. We're going to have some disagreements with that. I'll gladly go through all of them for you. I would consider myself a good man. I didn't have to suffer to get here, okay? Life isn't suffering. Life doesn't have to be suffering.
So let's make this a final point before we move on. You just said if all the leaders were women, we wouldn't even have war.
I said if we had more women leaders, yes, there would be less war.
The fact that you hate your own gender so much is quite amazing to me.
I hate my own gender.
Okay, I don't care. This is so fucking stupid. Thank you, MK Journey, for wasting my time and then leaving and without having a discussion. Thanks, dude. Really personified male. There. Really just awesome. Awesome representation. I called you a punk and you freaked out. Good meme.